Hello and welcome to this special edition of our Enterprise Development Seminar. The focus of our discussion today is leveraging your personal brand to grow your business and advance your career. A lot of people think personal branding is for certain kinds of people, but it is not for them. However, the truth is that every one of us is building a personal brand. The only difference is that some are doing that on purpose, but some are doing it unconsciously. You need to get to a point where you are building your personal brand consciously. And that is what we're going to talk about today. It is very important in the world that we live in today. Okay, you need to have the visibility that you need to gain the attention of your audience. If you are seeking a job, for example, your employer is your audience, you need to present yourself in a way that is attractive to your employer. If you are starting a business or you already have a business, your customers are your target audience. You need to present yourself in a way that makes them want to work with you. And that's why a lot of people talk about content and packaging. You can have the content. If your packaging is not okay, then there is an issue. And if you don't have the content and you package yourself in such a way that you look attractive, then there is also a problem. So the discussion is on how to build a personal brand that is both authentic, that means it is real. You are not faking it. People say fake it till you make it. That's not what we're doing here. Okay, so how to build a personal brand that is both authentic and that is also profitable. Okay, so we'll go into the session shortly. Let us start with our opening prayer. Dear God, I ask for an outpouring of your rain upon the business and career in which I have offered my work as an act of worship to you. By your spirit of wisdom and revelation, fill my mind with divinely inspired thoughts and strategies that will empower me for supernatural productivity and extraordinary success in all that I do. Open the heavens and grant me insights, concepts, and ideas that will place a clear distinction upon my work through the uniqueness of my products and services. In addition to this, Father, I ask for the rain of your favor upon every work I have ever rendered. I ask that this rain of favor will cause the voice of my work to be heard on the streets and in palaces, that men and kings should be drawn unto me, and by this, my work generates great surplus. I ask that kings will hear of the excellent spirit your reign has produced in me, and they will open great doors and grant opportunities unto me. Okay, so what exactly is personal branding? King Solomon said something. I think he said that in the book of Proverbs. He said that a good name is better. He said a good name is better than silver and gold, and loving favor is better than great riches. So he said that, or maybe like a good name is better than great riches, and loving favor is better than silver and gold. But the point is, even in most of our cultures, there is that proverb. We have that proverb in many of our cultures. At least I know of the Yoruba culture, and I know that it's also in a lot of proverbs, saying something like, okay, good name is better than gold. Okay, keep your good name and all of that. Now, if you say that something is better than the other, for example, if you say that dollar is better than naira, that means that if you have $10 and you have 10 naira, that means $10. If you say dollar is better than naira, that means $10 should be able to get you what 10 naira will get you, and much more. That is why you can say it is better. If you say gold is better than brass, that means if you exchange it, the exchange value, gold should be able to get you everything that brass can get you, and then much more. Do you understand? So it's the same way. Now, if we say that a good name is more valuable than silver and gold, and loving favor, now you can read that in different translations or different versions. Now, loving favor is talking about your reputation, okay? And those two things come together, your name and your reputation. Those two things come together to create your personal brand. So that means your personal brand is actually an asset. It is something that you should be able to trade for other things. It is something that you should be able to give in exchange, for other things, without it losing value in itself. And that's one of the reasons it is better. You understand? You are not losing it. It is growing. If you exchange gold or you exchange money for something, for example, the more money you give out, the less of it you have to make money. I mean, of course, you can always make more, but let's say that you have $1 million now, and then you bought something that is worth $300,000 out of it. Your $1 million has now become $700,000. But for your personal brand, it is a currency that keeps replenishing itself. The more of it you give out, that is when it is built the right way. The more of it you give out, the more it grows. Do you understand? So that's why Solomon, that guy was very wise. That's why he said that a good name, that means, a strong, personal brand, a good name and a good reputation, that those things are far, far more valuable than silver and gold, because you can use those things to get silver and gold. You can use those things to get riches. And the more you use, your name and your reputation to get all of those things, the more it actually grows. You understand? So your personal branding is essentially the perception that people have about you and what they can expect, from you. When people hear your name, what's the first thing that comes to their mind? Some people, don't let me give examples because we don't have a lot of time. I'm going to give like very practical examples during the workshop. I'll talk about that in the course of the session, but we have a workshop every month, enterprise development workshop, where we sit down and we cover a lot of issues, any topic that we have dealt with at all in our enterprise development seminar, and you need more insights on it, you need a practical session on it, we take care of it. Then we always have time. It's a whole day session, sometimes 2 days. Okay, so we always have time. So we're going to cover more there, but I want to introduce you to the concept and give you some things that you can get started with. Now, the problem for many of us is that when we think of personal branding, the first thing that comes to our mind is self-promotion. So what exactly is personal branding, and how does it how is it different? How is it different from self-promotion? We have said that personal branding is essentially the perception that people have about you, what they can expect, from you, what comes to their mind when your name is mentioned. Now, you can translate this also to business, to companies, to organizations. Okay, for example, if you say you want to order a laptop, let's say you want to order a laptop, and you have the option of ordering from Amazon, and you have the option of ordering from Jumia or Konga. Okay, and let's say that is the same cost, like the cost is the same, the cost of shipping and everything. Which of them are you going to choose? Okay, that is based on the perception, your choice. The choice that you're making is based on the perception that you have about, all of those brands. Do you understand? Okay, so it's applicable across board, and it's very important that we pay attention to it as individuals. Whether you are building a career, or you are building a business, or you are building a ministry, your personal brand is an asset that you can leverage to grow what you are doing and to advance along the path that you have chosen. Now, the difference between personal brand and self-promotion is like what Jesus said. He said that nobody lights a candle and put it under a basket, but you put it on a candle stand so that it can give light to all that are in the house. Now, when you put a candle, when you light a candle and you put it on the candle stand, what's the essence? Jesus says is to give light to all that are in the house. That's the point. Now, so personal branding is outward looking. Okay, personal branding, you want to create value for the people around you, giving light all in the house, you are creating value for them. They won't stumble, they see where they are going, they feel more comfortable, you understand? So it is about people, you are serving people, okay? So personal branding, when you are going to build an authentic and profitable personal brand, is about looking at all of the ways that you can create value consistently. Note that word, 2 words now, value and then consistent. Okay, you have to be consistent in creating value for the people that you are called to serve, or for the people that you are serving. So that is real personal branding. Now, for example, I do this every week. I do this enterprise development seminar every week. Okay, there is the workshop that we do every month. There are a lot of other ways that we create value. Okay, virtual business school, business mastery club. Those are ways through which, my team and I are consistently creating value. I am driving the process. So it's building my personal brand. Every other person that plugs into it, it's also building their personal brand. Now, that's personal branding. Now, for self-promotion is attracting attention to yourself. You understand? Now, the candle that is giving light to the house, naturally, people will see that candle. It's natural. It's the result, okay? Is the natural result, is the natural outcome of the fact that your light is shining. People will see. So that's what Jesus Christ said, let your light so shine that men may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. You see that you are not attracting attention to yourself, you are attracting attention to a bigger purpose, do you understand? Okay, and then you are being a blessing to people. Okay, that is personal brand. But self-promotion is you're attracting attention to yourself. Oh, that's why when you get the latest car, you post it on your status, everybody says. Now that is different from, okay, maybe you have mentees, for example, that you are training and you are showing them how to do things. I say, I see, I just got my car. This is exactly what I did. This is how I got it, so that you also can practice these things and all of that. Now, that is different. Do you understand? Now, in the closed environment, but you just got and then you now started posting. Before now, you've not been posting inside car. Okay, you now post inside car, you snap your picture, you post it on Facebook, you post it everywhere. That is self-promotion. You understand? Now, but you can do the same. So essentially, it's the motive, okay? The motive and the approach. That's what makes it different. Personal branding is creating value for people. Self-promotion is attracting attention to yourself. There was a certain blogger, for example, many of you will remember, the blogger said, oh, she had promised herself that when she's 40, she was going to build a house for herself and all of that, And this person went to somebody else's house. The owner of the house is in China. The person took pictures and posted it on social media, and then some people were already mad at them. She's like, what am I doing with my life? Not knowing that. So the people told that the owner of the house that this is happening, and then the man arranged to get her arrested. And then they handcuffed her. They made her make a confession, and then she put. Now that is self-promotion, and it's not necessary. In fact, that is going way, way, way too far. Okay. Now going back to the illustration of the candle, you realize that there is no light really if there is no candle wax. The candle wax has to be there, okay, and then the wick has to be there for the candle to keep burning. Okay. Now, when it is personal, the authentic personal branding, you have the candle wax, you have the content, okay? The content, that's the four, okay? You have the content to drive the personal brand, okay? But for people doing self-promotion, they just, they really don't have the content, most of the time. And then when you now engage them, for example, there was somebody we were going to hire, the outlook on social media, everything was excellent, his pictures were perfect. I was like, wow, this is going to be one of the best people ever. When we engage this the person, I was like, thank God for the recruitment process that we have. Otherwise, we would have got a problem on our hands. Even the person himself already, you understand, and knew that no, this is not. So that is self-promotion. You have to first build the content. So that's why we're talking about what's the recipe for an authentic personal brand. So imagine that you are cooking food. You need some ingredients that you are going to use to cook that food. So what is the recipe for an authentic personal brand? We want to start with the knowledge that you have, your knowledge, your skills, and your experience. Okay, so what is the knowledge that you have? What skills have you acquired? What experience have you gathered over the years? What are your credentials? Okay, and when I'm talking about credentials, fine, certifications are part of it, but it's not just about the certification itself. What can you do? In practical terms with all of those certifications, have you received any awards, any recognitions? And that is another issue. In fact, so somebody reached out to me, and then saying, no, you have been awarded this and that, and then they were asking me to pay a certain amount of money. If I'm somebody that is all about self-promotion, I will be so excited, and then I'll collect it, I'll put out the award, I just want this award. And there are people now, they have made a business out of that because they know that people are interested in self-promotion in the name of personal branding. They have commoditized the whole thing. But personal branding is not a commodity. It's actually, an asset that you use responsibly. You understand? So you use it with a very high degree of responsibility, So very important that we understand these things. We don't have all the time. We always want to keep these seminars within 40 minutes or less, okay? But I'm just going to take you through some important things. So one of the first things you want to consider, your knowledge, your skills, your experience, your credentials. Then what are the things that really interest you, your passion, your interest? Okay, the things that you can talk about them forever and you are not going to get tired. I, for example, am interested in helping people and see, go and check it. Anybody that associates with me, I'm just saying this, it's not, anybody that associates with me, maximum 6 months, your life can never remain the same. One way or the other, it's not like I'm trying to make people, and it's not like, it's just there. You understand? So you cannot associate with me and your life will not move forward. So that's part of my own personal brand. That's one of the things people can expect, when they are dealing with me. You understand? Okay, so what's your passion and interest? So for me, I am interested in, I want people to grow. I want to help people, get better. I want to help them learn, and it reflects in everything that I do. Then what are your core values and your beliefs? Okay, what are the things that you stand for and the things that you stand against? What are the things that you can literally give up your life for? And Jesus Christ said that anyone that gives up his life is going to gain it. okay, but the one that tries to keep his life is going to lose it. Now, these things are deep. I don't know how to, but think about it. And that's why I say that the Bible is not a religious book. I keep saying that it's a book of life strategies. For many people read it on the surface and they don't understand. So there has to be something you are willing to pour your life into. We're not talking about dying in the sense of physical death. When you say you are dying, no, it's not about that. Jesus Christ died. He even died physically, but he rose again. He rose, you understand? So you actually live in such a way that you live perpetually, okay? And if you pour your life into something, okay, you pour your life into something, you create a legacy, and then you can live perpetually. Now, you understand, well, all of these things, we're going to break them down further, okay, in the workshop. Now, 6 questions to get you started, okay? So how exactly do I start to build my personal brand? Where do I start from? Okay, I'm hearing this for the first time, or I've always been hearing it, but I don't know exactly how. Okay, so these questions will help you to begin to gain some level of clarity. Okay, ask yourself, I'm just going to read out the questions. We'll go into the details during the workshop. Question 1, what value do I have to offer? And what problems am I positioned to solve? Then ask yourself also, how am I different from other people in my sphere of influence? Then how will I communicate or demonstrate that uniqueness? Question 3, what emotions do I evoke? How do I want people to feel after having an encounter with me? Do I want people to feel excited? Do I want them to feel sober? Do I want them, you understand? So what emotions do you evoke? Do I want people to feel like, oh, I made them feel important, and all of that? So question 4, what transformation do I offer? Okay, then question 5, how do I want people to perceive me? For example, do you want people to see you as someone that genuinely wants to help them? You want to be helpful. Okay, you want to create value for them, or do you want them to see you as someone that just wants to make money off them? Okay. Then the last question of the 6 questions: what adjectives would people use to describe my brand personality? For example, do I want to come off as friendly, helpful, assertive, authoritative, cooperative, old-fashioned, bold, humorous, conservative, dependable? How do I want to come off? I was in a meeting recently okay, it was a church meeting. I wanted to say one of the organizations, but it was a church meeting. Okay, yes, it was a church meeting, a business growth community in church. And one of my, my pastor was saying that one of my pastors, he was talking about somebody that you can reach out to this person, she's always available. And then I had it, I said, yes, she's always available and she's also reliable. That's her personal brand. That's what she has been communicating in our interactions. You can trust her, you can depend on her. She's reliable. Okay, so that's one of the adjectives I would use to describe her. You understand? Okay, so what adjectives do people use to describe? For example, if you reach out to me on WhatsApp, you are probably not going to get a response on time. And it's part of my personal brand. You understand? Okay, so but of course, I've created a way around that you get a message that tells you what next to do. Do you understand? So it depends on where you are going, what you want to achieve, and then how you want people to perceive you. But everything has to be authentic. That's why we started from, the recipe, and then we started, also by differentiating between personal branding and self-promotion. Okay, so you are going to have a workbook that you can sit down, think through, and then we walk through it together. Well, that by completing the workbook, you are going to have, very clear directions on how to go about building your personal brand. But essentially, okay, that workbook we're going to share during the workshop. Now, I will show you how to sign up for the workshop or to register if you have not registered already. And for those of you that may want to register and maybe you are not in a position to pay the money right now, no problem. Just ensure that you join our community, Business Mastery Club. You also find the link on how to join that. Okay, we have sponsorship options. Okay, so once you join the community, you will see the information on how you can get sponsored. If you don't see it, ask. Okay, and they'll provide that information. You can actually get sponsored. We're only sponsoring a few people, and it's on a first come, first served basis. After we have considered the fundamentals, you fill an application, then we say, okay, fine. If you are qualified, then we pick on the first come, first served basis for those that are qualified. And we're going to announce it. All these things. There is no, it's not like doing something on the ground. No, we're going to announce it also on that platform, so everybody will know who was selected and all of that. Okay. Okay. So I'm saying that before then, essentially, how do you start building your personal brand? After you have answered all of these questions will help you understand the 6 questions we just went, understand what makes you special, okay? What is different about you? What value do you have to offer? Then you now spread that, through all of the platforms that you can. Just like Jesus Christ said that you put a light on a candle, okay? Sorry, you put a candle on a candlestick, or you put a lamp on a lampstand so that it can give light to all that are in the house. And then he said that you are the light of the world, okay? A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. So a city set on a hill, you are giving light to the world, you understand? So what are the platforms that can help you to shine your light to the world, as it were? You understand? Do you want to start a personal blog? Okay, do you want to write opinion articles in the newspapers? Do you want to have a podcast? Do you want to do a podcast? Do you want to write a book? There are a lot of vehicles, okay? And then those vehicles, the content, the fuel for all of the vehicles, for the most part, the fuel for all of the vehicles is content, okay? Okay, and we're going to cover the details of, okay, so how do you create all of the content that you need? There are a lot of ways now that make those things easy. You can even leverage artificial intelligence to make the work easier. So now content and then relationships, strategic partnerships. You understand? So those are the two main fuel. Okay, main kinds of fuel to drive the engine of your personal brand. Do you understand? But we're going to break down all of these things in the workshop. Like I said, the seminar will give you some insights to get you started, but sit down and do the practicals, how it applies to each person during the workshop. So I want to encourage you to be part of it. And we cover different topics. There's usually a theme for each edition of the workshop. But like I said, we always have question and answer sessions. We always have one-on-one sessions where we can attend to anything that anybody needs to deal with. If you've not asked your questions, you can still post in the chat for those that are joining us live. And if you are watching the recording, you can also send us your questions and comments, via the link or maybe the comment space, or better still, simply join us on Business Mastery Club. Go to connect.tpcl.com.ng/RSVP. That will lead you to Business Mastery Club, where you can ask questions, contribute to the conversation, and all of that. Then there are these other resources that you should take advantage of. Take advantage of the learning journal, okay, to help you to avoid information overload. People just learn a lot of things and they don't practice it, so they just get information overload and they think they have knowledge. Knowledge becomes useful when you convert it to insight and then you apply it. You understand? And this learning journal will help you do that. The link to download it is on the screen. And I talked about the workshop. We have it every month. Okay, so you can register by going to brainskills.xyz/workshop. And when you join Business Mastery Club, you are going to know the date, okay, for the next edition. But it's a monthly program. Usually it's the 3rd week of every month, but sometimes some weeks have like some months have like 5 weeks. So sometimes it might be the 4th week. Okay, but when you join Business Mastery Club, all of those details, you will always get them. And it's a community you would absolutely love. I'm telling you, like everybody there, understands the purpose, and the community is well managed. So it's not going to eat into your time. You are only going to get value. Okay, and you are also going to be able to contribute value and connect with other people. Okay, so the quotes to think about for this week, these are micro learning session. Okay, think about these quotes. I'm just going to read them out. The first one is from me, Philip Amiola. If we focus the camera of our imagination on the object of our desire and develop the image in the dark room of meditation, nothing can stop the physical manifestation. Now, just to give some background, because we have some Gen Zs that may not understand, all they know is digital camera. Back in the days, we had cameras that you would load film in the camera and then you take picture, and then the picture just looks blurry, like, the man that said he was seeing men as trees. Okay, but now you take that film, you take it to a place called photo laboratory, and then, there is a dark room. They put it in a dark room, do some magic on it. Yeah, of course, I'm talking about technological magic. They do some work on it, they process it. We used in Yoruba, then we used to call it FLO for photo, like you are watching the film, but that's by this side. So they do all of that, and then the picture now comes out. You understand? Okay, so that's how it works. Digital camera, also the principle is essentially same, but the exact details are different. Okay, so that's the same way that you can manifest anything that you want in your life, and it's very practical. So I'm just going to read it again. If we focus the camera of our imagination on the object of our desire and develop the image in the dark room of meditation, nothing can stop the physical manifestation. Then the other quote for this week is from Cindy Trim. Don't let yesterday's memories interfere with today's possibilities or tomorrow's amazing destiny. Focus more on creation and innovation rather than elimination and regrets. Embody the energy of the person you want to be next and not the person you are now. Think about that. And Dr. Cindy Trim is someone that I learn a lot from also. You can watch her videos on YouTube. You can get her books, especially Commanding Your Money. You can get Commanding Your Money. Then she wrote a book about, interesting, I just forgot the title now, but something about the future. I've read it, but the exact title just went off my mind. Something about the future, like maybe creating your future. I don't remember, but read Commanding Your Money. You are going to find it very helpful. Okay, so let's take our closing prayer. I declare with full assurance of faith that I have a rich, satisfying, and overflowing life. By the grace and mercy of God, I have received wisdom and power to build up vast assets that have continued to generate an abundance of wealth in profits, equity, retainers, consulting fees, dividends, interest, royalty, rental income, residual income, rebates, grants, gifts, annuity, capital gains, and other forms of income. My wealth and riches have continued to increase and multiply exceedingly, so much that accounting for them is like counting the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. I daily present my business and career as an altar of sacrifice to God. Therefore, He has blessed the work of my hands, causing me to implement insights and ideas that have made me so successful that nations come to my light and thanks to the brightness of my rising. I have become very great and extremely distinguished in every way. Amen. Thank you very much, everyone. Remember to share this with your friends, ask them to join us. If you are joining us live, the replay, you can always access the replay, okay? And you can also join us on Business Mastery Club so that you don't miss out on anything. Just go to connect.tpcl.com.ng/RSVP. So that's where you can be sure that you are always in touch and you are abreast of the latest updates. Thank you very much and bye for now.